probably heard by now.
We did it! Oh my god!
Way.
Oh my god!
This group of teenagers
That sound
just
like some
stole
happy niggas to me.
$240 million.
It's BZ.
YouTube. Hey man, it's Beezy. You know, back at it, man. Today we got a video on how a bunch of idiots got away with 240 million. Let's just get into it, bro. Y'all gonna see.
Probably heard by now.
We did it! Oh my god!
Way.
Oh my god!
This group of teenagers
That sound
just
like some
stole
happy niggas to me.
$240 million in Bitcoin.
It sound like they stole 240 mil.
Bobby Brothers!
Quarter of a bill. Probably.
We're done! We're done!
What you probably don't know is
I would've been done after that too,
the
shit.
parents of one of these hackers, Sushil and Radhika Chaitau, were abruptly rammed off the road by a Honda Civic while house hunting. At the same time, a white van pulled out in front of them, trapping them. 6 men then got out and surrounded them, forced them out of their car, beat them, duct taped them, and put them in the back of the van. They wanted to hold them ransom for the crypto millions their son had stolen, because after pulling off the heist, these hackers had gone on an absurd, ostentatious spending spree, and that kind of attention attracts predators. But of course,
Jesus.
to understand this story, we have to take a deep dive into the seediest sides of the internet, what's known as the comm. There's a lot of questions here, like why were they even recording this in the first place? Buckle up.
That is true.
I just hit the jackpot and won an ultra rare One Piece card. So I found this site called box.gg.
What you're seeing now is clips of Malone Lamb, the one who initially took the fall for this case because he was the most public about his spending playing Minecraft. There's nothing obvious here that will make you think this is a gateway to online fraud, but if you're a fan of my channel, you understand how real the Minecraft to SimSwapper pipeline is. And it's on this Minecraft server, Cosmic PvP, that Malone, then playing under the handle Greavies, will meet 2 avid players who would later steal $250 million with. The first was John DL Serrano, who was then playing under the handle I am Box Tops. The second was Veer Chaital, who went by Wiz. If you search these names on Google, in quotes, you can find a good amount about their history in these early days. John DL was apparently running a Discord server where people could buy and sell Minecraft accounts. Some with rare names or Minecon capes could even fetch thousands of dollars. It's the first sign they were getting into this sketchy side of Minecraft where accounts are hacked and stolen and then traded for real money. This is important on these PvP servers. People often use cheat clients to get an advantage, and so their accounts get banned, they need new ones, and stolen Minecraft accounts can cost as cheap as $1 versus spending 30 with Mojang. And we know Malone was using these clients because people were posting videos trying to expose him for it. He was also making a little money by scamming people in game. The other thing is, these hacking clients always seem to have communities around them involved in other sorts of online abuse, and it's clear that this group had gone full into it because they had no problem doxing the admins of these servers. We're talking releasing their social security numbers and addresses when they got into an argument with them. And in one case, Malone even sent emergency services to one of their homes. If you've been around sketchy kids online, there's many that will dabble in these cheat clients and buying hacked accounts, getting rare usernames, posting someone's docs after an argument even, but it's kind of rare to encounter someone unhinged enough to actually call emergency services and swap people. Even sending a pizza is pushing it. I think that even for the teens involved in this stuff, they realize there's real world consequences to that it's taking it too far, but Malone didn't seem to have that switch set to on in his head, and that's a trend I notice with at least hackers that get caught. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself because the first trend is what happens at the end of their Minecraft journey. Maybe it's from browsing too many Telegram channels for too long, but they realize instead of using these skills to hack Minecraft accounts, they can be used to hack large crypto holders. The Minecraft scams stopped being enough. By late 2023, Malone and John DL are building what the FBI would eventually dub the social engineering enterprise. They're toying with small crypto scams, making a small amount of money. So come October 2023, Malone leaves Singapore and flies to the US on a 90-day tourism visa with no intention of returning home. He moved into a rental house in Texas with John DL and a guy named Connor Flansburgh. This will become their first office of sorts. In collaboration with others online like Veer, they start forming this massive network capable of pulling all the pieces together needed to steal millions of dollars in crypto. See, within the comm, there's folks that specialize in certain areas. Data guys, people with access to leaked databases containing private information on high net worth crypto holders, and the talent to shift through those dumps to find whales worth targeting. Then unique callers, kids like Veer and John DL, pretending to be support agents at companies like Google, Yahoo, Gemini, like whatever logo they needed that day to social engineer victims. This was also one of the riskiest roles. Finally, there's organizers, people like Malone and Connor that stitch the entire attack.
Bro, look like
timeline
Ray.
together, setting up phishing pages and waiting to instantly drain the crypto accounts of victims in real time when the callers get them access. There's of course other hands in the pot too, like people that can turn all the stolen crypto into US dollars and hopefully mix it along the way to make its source untraceable. And they even had a burglar on standby to break into a victim's home if their social engineering attack failed. This is a list of known threat actors in this group, and together, they were about to start making millions. Speaking of millions, that's still a drop in the bucket compared to how many private records Flare.io, the sponsor of this video, is tracking. To pull off attacks like this, threat actors need stolen data, credentials, stealer logs, private databases, the exact kind of stuff traded on hacking forums, shady Telegram channels, and dark web markets. If you're responsible for Saki and the system from an exposed identity, that's 37 hours faster than most teams spot a leak. That gap between leaked and acted on is exactly where Flare lives. Flare is a threat Telegram channel. We have injects, ground data sessions, workflows in a breach, good luck kind of tool. This is to a free at try.flare.io/crumb. They're going to show you exactly what attackers see. Thank you, Flare.
New to Enterprise AI? In our free beginner's guide, learn where to start, what to consider, and how Red Hat AI helps accelerate your AI adoption journey.
Out of
It's
here.
not well documented how much they were making from early thefts, but we know by the end of 2023, the training wheels were off because Malone, John DL, and Connor moved from Texas to LA and rented a 6-bedroom, 11,000 square foot home on Clear Valley Drive. This is such a bizarre street to look at on Google Maps because every single house is blurred out. I think they likely put these requests in with Google for security. Maybe they didn't want like armed robbers being able to scope out where they were living. But anyways, this became their new base of operations. And from here, the first documented attacks start happening. In mid-March 2024, Malone and Veer social engineered a victim out of $600,000. In May, they got another whale, pulled roughly $2.9 million. Come the end of June, they hit another victim for $870,000. All of this while Malone technically isn't supposed to be in the country. He had no permanent residence or work permit. If the police stopped him on the street, it would be game over, especially because they weren't being quiet with the money. Already they were trying to book private jets and rent exotic cars. And to up the ante, when they targeted another victim, Malone managed to access their Apple iCloud account and monitor their location in real time. Come July 21st, since they were unable to obtain the money through their normal social engineering scheme, they flew a guy, Marlon Farrow, to New Mexico where the victim's house was located. Outside, Marlon set up a burner phone to live stream to his partners in crime back home. Then he made his way inside. The plan was that if they saw someone enter the house through the live stream, they would give Marlon a heads up. Inside, Marlon managed to find the victim's cryptocurrency hard wallets, and he dipped. They made another $1.7 million from this physical attack. It's not clear what would have happened if the victim returned home. And it's like, this was almost a pointless amount of trouble because just 3 days later, they hit their biggest victim yet, managed to steal $14 million. They were taking all of this cryptocurrency through a sophisticated social engineering scheme, one that was private to them. Nobody knew yet exactly how it was done from start to finish. But one thing was clear, they were pushing their greed to the point of failure. And that peak would come 1 month later in August, when they'd hit the heist that would finally make them say the words.
We're done! We're done! $242 million!
But unfortunately for them, there would be a double meaning to this.
God.
Enterprise goes after a man in Washington, D.C.
What are
From
y'all
data
doing
dumps,
with
they've
that?
determined that he's a high net worth early.
You niggas is already up
Step
paid.
one in
What are
this
y'all
scheme is
doing?
Fear, because fear makes people do irrational things. They start with what's known as a multi-factor authentication fatigue attack. They've already found his login credentials to his email, likely from data dumps. So they start hammering the login page, spoofing their location to be from places like Russia and North Korea. This causes the victim to get a flood of security alerts on their phone. If you've ever gotten one of those pop-ups saying, "Was this you?" you might know that feeling in your stomach, thinking that someone is trying to hack you. This is where the caller steps in, likely Veer. Using a spoof number, he calls pretending to be from Google support. He tells the victim that his account is actively under attack, walks him through carefully planned fake verification steps that convince him to read out loud the secret recovery codes to his Google account. While keeping the victim talking, he's pasting those codes into Telegram for Malone and others to use them to get access to this guy's email. Once inside, they know they possibly only have minutes before the victim catches on and starts trying to shut down their access. So they tear through the inbox, the Google Drive, docs, sheets, everything that is uploaded to a Google account, looking for anything crypto related. Sophisticated threat actors have scripts made to do this automatically in seconds. You would be surprised how often people store sensitive information in their emails and cloud drives like this. But the other aspect is, if you have access to someone's
This is
primary
crazy.
email
I'm
account,
just taking
you
it
can
all
just
in.
go on the different websites that they're signed up on and usually reset the password and then confirm a code that comes by email to get into it. The first thing they spot is an atomic wallet, but it's basically empty. Then they notice that the victim has serious holdings on Gemini, the crypto exchange, not the AI chatbot. But there's time-based two-factor authentication on the account. They can't get in with their email access alone. Behind the scenes on Telegram, they start trying to improvise a plan. They decide to run a second call. This time, John DL pretending to be from Gemini Security. They tell the victim that his crypto accounts might also be compromised and pressure him to move funds to safety and quick. Under that pressure, the victim sends around $3 million to wallets controlled by the social engineering enterprise, believing he's just moving it to a safe, temporary holding wallet owned by Gemini for these situations. With the victim still scared and cooperating, they decide to push it even further. They convince him to install AnyDesk, to quote, share his screen so they can help with the recovery. Except AnyDesk is remote desktop software. It basically gives them root access to his machine like they're sitting in front of it. Once connected, they notice the victim has a Bitcoin Core
That's
wallet.
crazy.
They ask him to open it, and they can't believe what pops up on the screen. He has 4,064 Bitcoins worth $240 million. They can't mess this up. They start instructing the victim to go through steps to restore and back up his Bitcoin Core wallet. They're freaking out in Telegram when he does. Then they instruct him to upload the backed up wallet files to OneDrive for, quote, safekeeping. Little does the victim know that the enterprise already has access to his OneDrive account through his hacked email. When those files hit the cloud, Malone instantly downloads them, fires them into his own instance of Bitcoin Core. Then, in 3 huge transactions, he sends all of the coins from the victim's wallet to one they control. And here's that exact moment.
It's on the block. John! Oh my
No
god!
fucking way.
John! Oh my god!
No fucking way.
$242 million! Bro, I'm gonna spaz out! Yo! We're done! I'm spazzed out!
Damn.
Do you know how much money that is? Holy fuck!
$250 million.
Bro!
That's pretty.
He's got $250 million fucking dollars.
He's gonna lose our shit! Yo! How do I... Hold on.
But little did they know, this call was being recorded. But that was going to take a little while to come out. For now, they were planning a spending spree like none other. But first, they had to tumble these bitcoins so they couldn't be traced back to the hack.
How much was that?
Spree like none other.
9 bands?
But first, they had to tumble these bitcoins so they couldn't be traced back to the hack when they cashed them out. Bitcoin is the most transparent financial system ever created because every transaction is in a public ledger. Companies like Chainalysis have made billions of dollars developing systems to track the flow of coins to cash out points with the end goal of catching bad guys. And it's not like the victim was going to stay silent. Rich people have a lot of money to pay for the best investigators. And the SE Enterprise knew this. So about 17 minutes after the theft, they kick off a crypto mixing technique known as a peel chain, moving huge stacks of Bitcoin from wallet to wallet, and at each hop, peeling off smaller and smaller chunks to fresh addresses. At the same time, they start chain hopping, swapping Bitcoin into other crypto coins like Litecoin, Ethereum, and Monero. Over the next few weeks, the money bounces through around 15 different services and exchanges that lack KYC protocols, creating this tangle of transactions. They hope that it's untraceable. All the while, they're actively planning things to buy, sharing pictures of these designer goods in their Discord server, because there was no way they were going to do the smart thing and wait to spend this money. The temptation was too strong, especially for Malone. Like the SIM swappers before them, Malone and friends, still in LA, decided to hit the luxury clubs. And all these videos start surfacing online of Malone spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on VIP sections and bottle service. DJs are calling him out by name on the microphone.
Who the is Malone?
Hey, yo, Malone, you going real crazy like it's your birthday.
One time, to thank them, he handed a DJ a 6-liter golden bottle of Ace of Spades champagne worth $25,000 to $60,000. Another time, he sent a DJ home with a $2,000 tip and tens of thousands in unopened bottles. He posted this TikTok the next day. His tabs were astronomical. Here's one for $250,000.
Damn.
That was probably a light night. Another one for $300,000. And here's a third for $500,000. There's people on TikTok reporting that they saw him spend up to $2 million in a night at these clubs.
She was just on Drewski shit.
It had to have been, just within that 10 minutes that I was there, $100,000 worth of alcohol. And he had been at the club, like, for a while.
They were on a generational run, and LA, it wasn't big enough for them. So where else do you go but Miami? Malone chartered a private jet, and they settled in an 8,500 square foot waterfront mansion with 10 bedrooms on the exclusive Hibiscus Island with a monthly rent of $62,000. This place was decked out. They had the full 9 yards, 25-foot ceilings, pools, and they quickly filled the front driveway with supercars, like a ridiculous amount of supercars.
My heart racing right
Ferraris,
now,
Lamborghinis, Porsches, Mercedes, Rolls Royces, a BMW, and this Aventador SVJ with Malone's name on the side. He even tried to get his ex-girlfriend back with one of these, a pink Urus and a Birkin bag, but she responded that she has a boyfriend. Ouch. To compensate, he took a stack of Birkin bags to the club and started giving them away. The next day on TikTok, model Olivia Allen posted this video. Then this video by Sky Bree got posted.
A random man at the club gifted me this Hermes Kelly story time. I don't know his name or anything about him. He comes over and he's like, my friend over there wants to gift you a Birkin, but he looked pretty young. He comes towards me and he's like, I got this for you.
And Malone had all his own clothes to match the part. A Richard Mille watch, designer coats, iced out glasses, rings. The others in his group were not quite as ostentatious as him in terms of getting their name plastered on signs at bars and putting it on the side of a car that you bought with stolen money, but they were still spending it alongside him. But the more they spent, the more attention they got, and it wasn't just from girls as they had hoped.
Look at these niggas.
Rival cyber criminals online that
just
saw them spending this
chill
wealth on social media, and that gave them an idea.
Y'all
Maybe
got it
was time
already.
to take things
Chill.
offline with a kidnapping.
Wait, what? Oh, what? Wait, what happened?
God, and it wasn't just from girls as they had hoped. There was rival cyber criminals online that saw them spending this wealth on social media, and that gave them an idea. Maybe it was time to take things offline with a kidnapping. During the late
Hating ass
afternoon,
niggas.
Sushil and Radhika Chaitow were house hunting in an upscale neighborhood in Danbury, Connecticut. Cruising around in the matte gray Lamborghini Urus, Veer had bought for them. He told them he was making money online through crypto trading. As they turned a corner, a white Honda Civic suddenly slammed into the back of the Lambo. At the same time, a white Ram ProMaster van cut them off from the front, boxing them in. There was nowheres to go. 6 masked men dressed in black jumped out. They yanked the Chaitows out of the Urus and dragged them towards the van. When Sushil resisted, they beat him with a baseball bat and threatened to kill him. Inside the van, they bound both of their arms and legs with duct tape. Radhika was forced to lie face down and told not to look at them. She struggled to breathe and begged them to stop, telling them she had asthma. The attackers wrapped duct tape around Sushil's face and hit him several more times as the van sped away. They wanted to hold them ransom for the crypto millions their son had stolen, but they hadn't gone quietly in their abduction. Several witnesses saw the ambush and immediately called 911, including an off-duty FBI agent who lived in the neighborhood. He started tailing the van and the Honda, stayed on the phone with dispatch, and even managed to get them license plate information. The Danbury police, thanks to this, were quick to pick up the trail. When a patrol officer lit up its emergency lights and tried to pull the van over, the driver took off, swerving through traffic. About a mile later, he lost control, jumped a curb, and crashed. The suspects bailed on foot, leaving the Chaitels bound and terrified in the back of the van.
Dumbass niggas.
Officers found one man hiding under a bridge and three more hiding.
Look at his goofy ass. Oh, hating ass niggas, man. Hating ass niggas. Look at bro. Fucked his hair up and shit. Hating ass niggas.
In the nearby.
They just mad because they shit wasn't booming like they shit, so they tried to hold these niggas for ransom. What? That's crazy.
Woods. Based on information from those arrests, police were able to find the other two.
Then look, I can already see it. Now that these fucking dingleberries tried to fuck with they shit and take their parents for ransom, now they're finna investigate the parents. Like, oh hey, why did these guys? And I'm pretty sure the word gonna get out, and then boom, now they finna start doing an investigation on them.
This morning,
like,
an
what
Airbnb
the?
about half an hour away.
Like, what the? That's some shit like, oh man, if we can't make it, you can't make it either. Stupid ass.
The rest of the SE Enterprise was feeling after this news. Like, if they go to
I already know, bro.
Are they going to get abducted?
Just watch.
Well, I suppose that's only if the feds didn't get to them first, because the investigation by this point was now well underway. Zach XBT, a scam survivor turned self-proclaimed 2D investigator, was just about to go through airport security when he received a notification. A Bitcoin transfer for $600,000 had just hit a tiny exchange he monitors, an amount 10 times bigger than what normally moves through that exchange. Then, while he's standing at his gate, he got a ping. Another million had just hit. Then another ping, this time for 2 million. At this point, he's tracing the blockchain on his phone as he's shuffling forward in the boarding line, racing against the 30-minute takeoff window where the plane will go dark with no Wi-Fi. By the time the plane lifts off, he's done it. He's traced the money backwards to a single wallet that had been sitting untouched since 2012, holding hundreds of millions in Bitcoin, until today, when someone started dumping it as fast as they could through exchanges with terrible fees and little security protocols. To him, it's obvious a whale wouldn't cash out like this. This, as he's seen time and time again, is what happens after a massive theft. Once the plane hits 10,000 feet and the Wi-Fi
bro already doing his homework.
Zach keeps going. For hours, he watches the funds split and branch across more than a dozen mixers, exchanges, and
Who the fuck is this nigga, Batman?
Thieves desperately try to hide their trail. Then Zach traces the flow backwards to where the coins originated from. He finds a connection with the now collapsed Genesis exchange. He DMs the old administrators on Twitter, asking them to connect him to whoever lost this fortune. Eventually, the victim hires him outright to help track the money. By the time Zach lands, he's mapped the theft back to 3 likely culprits. He posts about the theft to his 650,000 followers, and soon after he gets a DM from someone claiming they know exactly who these thieves are. Over the next week, Zach barely sleeps. 4 or 5 hours a night. He's feeding updates to law enforcement, building diagrams, and matching spending sprees to post on social media. Zach even gets his hands on a 90-minute screen recording of the group during the heist from an informant on Twitter, leaked because one of them had reshared their screen with friends
an informant.
call, and someone in that call recorded it. Zach said in reviewing the full 90 minutes, they casually called each other by their real first names, and at one point, Veer even flashes his Windows desktop, revealing his full name. And we can see that Veer, during the heist, was looking up the Ferrari 812 on YouTube. You can't make this stuff up. There's another tab here, a search for the name, Sam Lesson. When this screenshot got posted by ZachXBT, the internet was pretty sure that this was the person who had likely fallen victim to the attack. It made sense, he's a former VP at Facebook and massive crypto and tech investor. But Sam, with this news breaking, publicly denied being tricked by the group, writing on Twitter, "So to chime in, this isn't me. I have never had my crypto hacked, but I did get shockingly compromised for about 20 minutes through social engineering this summer via Google, and it was very, very scary. Very smart scam. Stay safe out there." So the mystery as to who the victim is lives on, but for the social engineering enterprise, unbeknownst to them, Zach had found their identities, was watching them on Instagram as they were out living it up, collecting evidence, so when the moment was right, the feds would have no doubt about securing a strong conviction. The police were parked outside of LAX. They had discovered that John Diel had gone on a vacation to the Maldives with his girlfriend. They didn't want to arrest any other members of the group before he was back for risk of alerting him and losing him. Before going through customs back into the US, John Diel had wiped all apps from his phone just in case they would send him through secondary screening. When he made it through without a hiccup, it was a relief. Till 2 FBI agents promptly stopped and arrested him, handcuffed him on the spot. They also briefly interrogated his girlfriend. She denied having any knowledge of John Diel's involvement in the heist. The FBI agents told her that the only way she could make this worse was to warn her boyfriend's partners in crime. She promised them that she wouldn't, and since they didn't have any legal grounds to keep her, they let her go. To quote the FBI's memo, immediately after leaving the interview, John Diel's girlfriend promptly called his criminal associates, tipped them off to his arrest, and these associates in turn deleted their Telegram accounts and all incriminating evidence included in the saved chats. I can't believe it, you can't make this stuff up. So the group was in a frantic mess. Malone went out back of his
they tried to
home,
pack that shit
left
up.
his phone in the bay, and the pressure was on to arrest them before more evidence could be destroyed, or worse, they flee the country. It was sooner than planned, but the Miami police immediately organized a raid on Malone's home. Later that day, these videos would circulate on social media of Malone being arrested. Exactly a month after they had stolen $240 million in Bitcoin, 2 of them had been busted.
Someone DM'd me on LinkedIn.
This shit
I have the
getting
most experience
crazy.
in IT, but someone with less experience got promoted.
John Diel agreed to speak to the law without an attorney. At first, he denied anything about the crime, but later he would admit his involvement. Told that
That's
he bought
crazy.
3 cars worth around $1 million, a watch for $500,000 more, and the 21-year-old even gave them access to accounts on his phone that held more than $20 million worth of stolen crypto. For Malone, the feds started seizing all his assets: the luxury cars, the watches, jewelry, clothing.
Look at all.
On his
Look
phone
at all this
held
shit.
more than $20 million
Look at all this
worth
shit.
of stolen crypto. For
A 2017 Rolls Royce Don. I don't even know what the fuck that is. I know what a Rolls Royce is, but a Don, I don't. Porsche 911, I heard about that. Turbo, Lamborghini, Rolls Royce Ghost, Ferrari. Nigga, why do y'all have so many
The feds
cars?
started seizing all his assets: the luxury cars, the watches, jewelry, clothing. But he wasn't
What are y'all
going down
doing?
without a fight. They were going to need to beat him in court, and Malone had a plan. One hitched on his co-conspirators, who were now on the run.
Ooh, is
You
people
think
still on the
rest
run?
laid low for a while, but they didn't. In fact, they were trying to help get Malone out. According to the FBI, co-conspirator Connor Flansburgh started selling high-end cars to raise money from Malone's lawyers. When word of this reached Malone in jail, he was not impressed. On a recorded call, he said, quote, "Why is he selling M3s? Tell Connor to not give back those cars. It's effing $200K. I wiped that with my... I don't want that. I want my people to have their... If he wants me out, tell him to get his money from lawyers, not by selling cars." In another call, the FBI caught him leaning hard on someone only identified as co-conspirator 1, quote, "You know I'm taking this for you, right? You know I'm in here and it's not my mistake. You're the only people, y'all have the money. You know how it works. The lawyers care about money. I'm talking about pay the lawyers. I wonder." Who could this co-conspirator 1 be? Well, the ones responsible for leaking their identities first were Veer and Jandiel, and co-conspirator 2 is listed on the document as having been arrested coming back from the Maldives, so that's gotta be Jandiel, leaving Veer likely as co-conspirator 1. And the timeline adds up here because Veer, he was still on the run, kind of. Police didn't catch him. He actually turned himself into the FBI 1 week after Malone had been busted. Talks quickly moved to a plea deal, which Veer took. He was to return all the assets obtained from stolen money and testify against his friends. In the meantime, he was free to make bail. Except Veer would never fulfill his role as a witness in court because even while in talks to make the plea deal, Veer had continued to conduct the same old crypto scams while out on bail. In October of 2025, Veer got involved in a $2 million theft. Again, he acted as a Gemini exchange support member, convincing a New Jersey crypto investor.
I get it. He trying to make his bread back. I get that.
Wallet.
Come
His
on,
cut
bro.
was $200,000 for being the caller on that attack. Veer promptly booted up his VPN and made a new account on an online casino called Bust-A-Bit where he lost all $200,000 in the span of 40 minutes.
What?
Unbeknownst to him, during that gambling session, his VPN had dropped connection, exposing his real IP address. When the feds caught this, well, he can't commit crime on bail. He got sent back to prison and his deal was revoked. And in reviewing his chat logs, they found that he was planning to flee to Dubai. It was perfect timing, but for Malone, that means his escape plan wasn't looking too hot. By mid-2025, the party was officially over because in May, the superseding federal indictment dropped, a full-blown racketeering case. The SE Enterprise was being formally charged as a RICO conspiracy that stole more than $263 million in crypto, laundered it through peel chains and mixers, and backed it up with real-world home break-ins. With this indictment came arrest against many of the lesser-known members of the group. The database hacker, Connor Flansburgh, the burglar, money guys, another caller, all of them listed by name in the RICO indictment. One of the money launderers, Kunal Mehta, has already pleaded guilty to the RICO conspiracy, admitting that he ran a crypto-to-cash service for the group. He also booked their private jets, rented their mansions, and
These
even
niggas is
shipped
crazy.
all cash in the mail stuffed inside of Squishmallow toys. He's the 8th defendant to fold to this date. Others are still in active plea talks.
Christian
Veer is currently sitting in
Louboutin.
federal custody, facing guidelines that could put him away for
I can't even say that shit, nigga. Like, come on, bro. Like,
expected to make a plea deal, but there's no public
come on, bro. Like,
sentencing
if
for
y'all
him
gonna
yet, meaning
bang
that he's
something,
in the same
live below your
limbo as
means for a
most
little
of
bit.
the
Like,
gang, waiting to find
the
out how
fuck
many
you
years of
niggas-
his young adult life will be spent.
niggas
inside
is
of
over here
prison.
buying
The kidnapping
Lamborghinis.
crew got busted too. The guys who tried to snatch Veer's parents.
I can see if you rent a
Five
Lamborghini.
accepted plea
Nigga,
deals
you're
in federal
straight
court
up
for
buying a
conspiracy and kidnapping
$240,000
related
car.
charges. And the 6th, he's gonna try and take it to trial. And then there's Malone. When we last left him, he was locked up in Virginia, still trying to pull strings from behind bars, including, according to this RICO indictment, having his friends hand-deliver his girlfriend more Hermes Birkin bags, while he was still behind bars waiting for trial. Like, you just can't make this stuff up. Since then, things have only escalated for him legally. Like, this RICO indictment got pinned on him, and he's being charged with RICO conspiracy, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and conspiracy to launder monetary instruments. On paper, each of those carry up to 20 years, but with the dollar amount involved and the number of victims, he's realistically looking at a sentence that could last most of his lifetime if he loses at trial. His first trial date was
Jesus.
originally set for October 2025, but when the feds added these 12 defendants and mountains of new evidence under the RICO indictment, that was postponed. Malone is now being held in the Alexandria jail in Virginia. In November 2025, he was back in court for a status hearing where his lawyers told the judge that the government had served up a new plea offer. The court approved money for a special computer, one not connected to the internet, so Malone could finally review the mountain of discovery. A terabyte of chat logs, blockchain traces, ISP dumps, to try and convince Malone to take this plea deal instead of taking it to trial. Both sides are due back in court in December for an update. As of right now, he hasn't taken the deal. He's still officially not guilty, claiming he wasn't the mastermind while sitting at the center of a RICO case built around his online handles. So what happened to all the money?
Dumbass nigga.
Zach XBT and law enforcement managed to freeze or seize roughly 79 million.
You know what this nigga remind me of, bro? I don't know if y'all ever seen, like, watch anime or whatever, but L off of fucking Death Note, bro. This nigga's L. Oh God, this
$1
nigga's
million
L.
worth of stolen crypto before it could be cashed out.
I
Prosecutors
just thought
say
about
that
that.
more than
This
100
nigga's
million
L for sure.
still hasn't been found. It's either sitting in wallets that no one's tied to a real person yet, or it's gone forever in a blur of gambling websites, mixers, and bad trades. There's 2 aliases on the indictment listed as first and last name unknown because they have not yet been identified. Perhaps they know where the missing $100 million is. The government seized all of the luxury assets. This list is just massive. Most of this will eventually be auctioned off. A portion of the proceeds will go back to victims, and some of it back to funding more investigations and prosecutions. As for the clubs and the planes and the mansions, they're not listed on the indictment, so it seems no one is asking them for the money back. But only time will tell if they manage to recover the rest. And as for the main victim, their identity is still concealed.
Yo!
Chat, bro. This was crazy. Like, I barely had anything to say, man. It's just like, you stole 240 million. You had the opportunity to get away with it. Then you post blah blah blah, overspending, and then get caught by the feds. Bro, like, man, just know, like, just be smart out here, y'all. Just be smart, man. Don't be doing dumb shit, bro. Please, man. Love y'all, man.